Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 10 things that we do not do when it comes to managing our finances. In the last video, or the video before this, I actually filmed basically 10 do's that we do to seamlessly manage our finances. Today, we're going to be talking about 10 things that we do not do to seamlessly manage our finances. So if that is of interest to you, then please keep watching. So the first thing that we do not do is stress over debt. Now, I understand that stress can be overwhelming, especially when you have a lot of debt as it relates to your income, or in comparison to your income. So I'm not saying that the average person probably doesn't stress about debt, but for us, it's really not that serious. As long as we are saving for our retirement, which we're doing that at an elevated rate, as long as we are managing our money effectively, as long as we are paying off credit cards because we use a credit card and pay it off each month, as long as we are doing all of those things, debt doesn't really faze us. So we have 3 cars. One car we recently financed. We put about half down on a new RAV4, and paying that monthly payment every month is really not that big of a deal to us. We also financed some furniture just because it was interest free, so we're making a payment on that. Not that big of a deal to us. So just having debt isn't anything that stresses us. It never has, really. I think the world makes it seem really bad. So I'm not saying our experience may not be everyone else's experience, but truly, we do not stress about debt. It's really not that big of a deal to us. No, we don't want to be in debt, but we have a solid plan of paying off our debt. And when I say we don't stress about paying off debt, I mean we are actively paying off our debt, and we have been doing so for years, but we know when the end is. We have an end goal for when we will be debt-free, completely debt-free, minus our mortgage, of course, even though we also have a plan for paying off our mortgage as well. So just stressing about debt isn't something that we do because it's not helpful. The next thing that we do, now this is something that we pretty much eliminated after a couple of years. We do not do monthly budget meetings anymore. Why? Because we have streamlined our finances such that, like I keep saying, as long as we go to work every day and come home and keep doing so enough until we get a paycheck, we already know what our income is going to be. We know what our expenses are going to be each month. And so there's no need to check in each month with our finances. I already know how much money my husband's going to spend on, with his allowance and his hobbies or whatever. We already know how much money I'm going to spend. So we already know our spending habits at this point. So there's no point to do a lot of check-ins. We talk about new financial goals that come up or something like that, but we don't have to meet regularly every month to talk about our finances because it's literally repetitive at this point. The next thing that we don't do is aggressively doing anything. So we used to, once there was a time where we did aggressively pay off our credit cards and even our car loan. And that was really because we were new to managing money the way that we were managing it, and it was exciting. But truly, I feel like this is a marathon and not a sprint. And so building wealth and, trying to become financially independent is something that is going to take years and years and years and years and years. So we have just accepted the fact that technically we have years and years and years and years and years to get our money where we want it to be, because that's how long it's going to take. So, we're just chilling. We are coasting towards debt freedom, towards financial independence, toward an early retirement, and there's no need to be busting our tails trying to work overtime and do all that extra stuff at this point right now. Another thing that we no longer do is we don't do this guessing game for variable expenses. Because we have consolidated our variable expenses into one category, we don't have to guess, how much food is going to be or how much miscellaneous expenses we might have, or just trying to guess just to come up with a number for each specific category. Now we just come up with a total. This is how much money we have left over after paying our bills and after saving and investing, and this is how much we have to spend. It's just the amount. Like, this is it. This is all we got. We got to work with it. It could be $1,000. It could be $1,500. It could be $2,000, but this is it. And as long as we don't exceed that, we're good. Another thing that we don't really do is sinking funds. Now, I'm going to do a sinking funds update because it has officially been a year since we retried sinking funds, but I just have to say, all in all, sinking funds don't really work for us. I don't really see the point. I mean, I see the point to a certain extent, but I also don't really see the point given our financial goals. It almost doesn't really make sense to me when it comes to sinking funds, and I'll explain more about that in a video. But for the most part, over the past 5.5 years or so, or however long we've been budgeting as a married couple, we haven't really found any real success with sinking funds. The next thing that we do not do is take others' opinions into consideration when it comes to managing our money. Now, to be fair, we learn from other people. I'm a lifelong learner. I love learning new strategies and skill sets and knowledge from other people because I think I can learn from everyone. I do not think I'm above learning from someone else. However, when people suggest that we do this or we do that, we pretty much don't really take that into consideration at all because we know what life we want to live. We know the things that we are working on behind the scenes, if you will, and we consult with our financial advisor to get his expertise about certain things, and we just roll with it because personal finances are personal. Another thing that we do not do is have only one bank account. So we started out with one bank account, and it used to drive me bananas because it's kind of like there was no separation for savings or this or that, or it just was too much. So we have multiple savings accounts now. I actually recently did a video regarding all of our bank accounts, so I will link that video up above if you want to check it out. But yeah, having one bank account, even though we have joint finances, was a literal headache, and so we have multiple bank accounts now, and that helps with separation. Another thing that we do not do, I don't know that we've ever really done it, is impulse spending. We just do not naturally impulsively purchase anything or do anything. We don't do anything impulsively, and if we do, it's not anything major. So we like to sit on purchases for, I'll put something in my Amazon cart and let it sit in there for a couple of days or until I'm ready to buy it. I try to make one large Amazon purchase just in general instead of having like 100 of them, throughout the month. Some months I don't even purchase from Amazon at all, but we try to avoid impulse spending. We like to sit on the purchases or the potential purchases for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months before we pull the trigger. This helps us not have to return things because we bought them when we didn't need to or anything like that. The next thing that we don't do anymore is paycheck to paycheck budgeting. Y'all know I used to swear by paycheck to paycheck budgeting, but honestly, I was thinking about it. It's probably been a couple of years, probably since we moved into this house, maybe even since we did a paycheck to paycheck budget. It's just not something that we gravitate towards doing anymore. Now we're at a place where we can look at our finances from a monthly view and a more holistic approach rather than trying to budget each paycheck. And then finally, we do not set an unrealistic budget. Now, there are times where we go over budget, but it's not intentional, meaning we budget enough each month to, be able to live off of and pay our bills and all of that. Sometimes like today I just purchased my niece some AirPods, the Pros. You can look up how much AirPods are, but she's turning 18. It's normally way over what I would spend for a birthday gift for anyone, but I did go ahead and purchase them because why not? So the point that I'm trying to drive home is that I didn't intentionally want to do something like that, but I did end up doing it. But we normally don't set out to, we know how much we're going to spend for restaurants or food and all these types of things. But sometimes with giving, I don't know, sometimes you just feel called to give or do more or, donate or do something like that. And so I just feel like I have to do it. There's no stopping me. So there are those instances, but technically when we put together our regular monthly budget for, accounting for our regular donating and giving and our regular spending and expenses, we like to put together a very realistic budget. So those are all of the budget don'ts in this household. I would love to hear any that you have down below. I would love to hear any of the things that you have tried or even thought about trying or want to try or whatever, but you're just not really too sure that they are going to work, or it's something that you have tried and it didn't work. Definitely leave a comment down below. If you like this video, give it a like. Subscribe if you're new and if you're liking what you're seeing, and I will catch you guys right back here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye guys.